Welcome to Wisdom of the World. Today's story is a story from the southern part of France, and it's about outsmarting the devil. I thought that was really a Latin American hobby, but it's a global hobby. Everybody wants to be smarter than the evil around them. So the story is called The Devil Outsmarted, and it goes like this. Once upon a time, a long time ago, there was a couple farmers, and they were very, very poor. And that particular year, there was a famine in the area where they lived. There were no fish in the rivers. There was no deer in the woods anymore. There was no bees from the honey, from the bees. There was nothing to be gotten at all. Everything was empty. So all the couple could do was just sort of dig into the ground and then hope to find some sort of a root crop that they could eat to survive. And they were sitting down under a big tree, and a big birch tree, and the husband was saying, "Oh, if only we had a piece of land somewhere, we could cultivate it and grow something so we could live." And but the woman was quite fatalistic, and she said, "Nah, I hope that the good Lord will soon, make an end to our lives." At that very moment, they saw, from where they sat, they saw a man walking up towards them, a man with a pointed beard, dressed in black, with eyes that were like fiery coals. And he said to them, "It seems you are fed up with your existence at this particular moment, and it's taken you a long time to realize that the one who designed all this didn't do a very good job at it. Now I could help you if you wish." And the farmer said, "Yeah, we would like to be helped, but who are you?" "Oh, I'm the devil, the good devil. And I want to make you a proposal. I own a piece of land not too far from here, near the river. And I want to make an arrangement with you, a deal with you, where you grow the land, you cultivate it, and at the end of the year, we split half. Half for me, half for you." And the farmer was just about, ready to run away. He didn't want to have anything to do with him. But his wife stopped him and said to the devil, "We accept your proposal." The devil said, "Do we have a deal?" And the wife said, "We have a deal." So they followed the devil, and he showed him a plot of land, nice plot of land, and he said, "I'll be back in 1 year to split the harvest." So the couple on the one hand, they were relieved that maybe this would be the end of their suffering. On the other hand, they were really worried, and they said, "Will there not be a moment in time where we really regret what we have done today?" But they decided to hope for the best, and they worked the land and they planted potatoes. So a year later, the devil comes for his share of the harvest. And following the advice of his wife, the farmer said, do you choose the above the ground or the below the ground?" And the devil, who had no clue about agriculture, said, "Oh, he saw this lush green. He said, I choose the above the ground." Okay. So, and he cut all of that and took it away, and the farm couple, dug into the ground and had a beautiful harvest of potatoes. Next day, the devil comes back furious. He says, I realize you guys cheated me. Next year, you will not come off so easily. I will choose the under the ground. Yeah. Okay, said the farmers, okay. So they again set to work. And this time, they chose to grow wheat, a crop abundantly above the ground. As you know, in year, just actually when the rainy season was about to set in, the devil came back and the farmer said to him, well, what do you propose for this year? And he said, well, I told you last year, this year I will choose the below the ground. Okay. So he came back at the end of the monsoon and he dug and dug and he all these sort of meager roots that were there, he collected. And again he says, you cheated me again, you couple. I will not accept this. Yeah? We will have a battle at midnight on the square and the winner of the battle can have the wheat. So the farmer was pretty worried, but again he followed the advice of his wife and he stood there with a very long wooden pole. And the devil had brought with him sort of a short, solid club, stick, which you could beat somebody. But he couldn't use it because, the farmer just had that long stick and kept him at a long distance, yeah? So he couldn't do anything. And the devil again said, tomorrow I will have, again, we have another battle to fight this out because today, So the next day, the devil chose the weapon that the farmer had, a long stick, a long pole. Again, the farmer followed the advice of his wife and said to the devil, hey, listen, there's a church right there. Yeah, I wouldn't want that church to sort of influence you in any way, and that later you say that I have cheated because it was a church. So maybe we can move to more neutral territory. And so the devil said, okay. And so he took the devil to a much more narrow street where the long weapon of the devil only served to break the windows upstairs, and the farmer could, keep clubbing him on the back. And again, the devil was furious, grinding his teeth, and he says, we will have a battle with bare hands tomorrow at the same time, and then we will settle this. Now the farmer got very worried because he thought, well, that devil has very sharp claws, so I won't stand a chance. But his wife told him, don't worry, I will take care of everything. And so at midnight he wanted to go out, but his wife stopped him and says, no, don't go out, let him come to us. So the devil waited for a while and then knocked on the door and said, so she opened the door and says, where's that husband of yours? I guess he's too afraid to come out. If he has any guts, let him come out and fight. And she says, just wait a minute. And she says, he's gone upstairs to file his nails. Yeah. And she closed the door. And then she had a bucket of blood, which she had from an animal they had eaten. And so she put the blood all over her arms and her face and everything. And then she started screaming. And she opened the door all bloodied and everything and a huge mess. And she said to the devil, this is what my husband did to me after he sharpened his nails. If I were you, I'd get out of here before he sort of skins you alive. Now, the devil got really afraid and he ran away. And while he was running away, he said to the lady, you keep your wheat. You keep the field for all I care. I don't want to have anything to do again with you two. And so, the farmer couple got a plot of land, and they lived happily ever after. Thank you.